views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Get ready to experience the truth. Welcome to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Truth Talk Radio is the hit show that will illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. Unleash your intuitive nature while Deb helps you stop looking outside yourself for value and happiness, break through patterns, and move into your authentic truth at lightning speed. Truth Talk Radio will leave you feeling lighter, help you live with more presence, passion, and clarity, and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Now here's your host, Deb Acker.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deb Acker, and you are listening to Truth Talk on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with me for the next hour as I help you experience the truth, nothing but the truth. Each week on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll have some of the most gifted, inspiring, and unique souls, speakers, and authors helping to move you into more light, love, and of course, truth. And with that, I want to introduce today's speaker, Frankie Picasso. Frankie speaks about change, midlife, and how to emerge as your true self, including how to change oneself and how to change the world. She's the founder of the Good Radio Network, author, artist, an intuitive therapist and coach, and an advocate for a socially conscious planet. And my experience of Frankie is one of her strong passion to make a big impact in the world. And with that, I'd like to welcome Frankie to the show. Welcome. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Deborah. How are you doing?
Good, good. So excited to have you here. So excited to have our conversation. Yeah, it's going to be super, super fun.
Love the energy. Love the energy.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. So I want to start actually by, can you tell us about your journey to change?
Oh, my journey to change. I think
Can you tell us, I just want to start by asking, can you tell us about your journey to change?
You know, I've always really embraced change. I'm one of those people who love change. I don't, some people fear it. I have to have it. It's almost like, if I don't have it, I get really antsy. So, being somebody who loves change, it's perfect for me to help people through change. But my journey, I guess it began, so long ago. I don't know where to start, Deborah. Where would you like me to start with this journey? As an adult, as a coach, as I said, I embrace change.
Let me ask you this. What prompted you to kind of even get on this journey, to start really seeking it out? I know you mentioned that, it's part of you. Mm-hmm. Was there some sort of defining moment in your life that kind of got you on the path to change?
I think everything I've done has always been about change and helping people change their lives. I call myself a champion for change. So I think, in almost every aspect of every job or career that I have done, it's always been about change. The biggest change probably in my life came in 2003 when I had my motorcycle accident. And during that time, I broke both femurs, my hip, my pelvis, like everything below my waist was broken. And I was in the hospital for about 6 months. And during that time, I got divorced in the hospital. I lost my job in the hospital. My blues band walked out of me. I was a drummer in a band. They walked out of me in the hospital. I was about to go to Shanghai with the Masters Dragon Boat team, Canadian Masters Dragon Boat team. We were about 8 days away from leaving. And so that didn't happen. And when I got home, my dog died. So that's a lot of change in a short amount of time for somebody. But it was, it started another journey for me, which was to find out who you are when you aren't identified by any of those things. I mean, I was still a mom. That was the only thing that was still, I was still new about myself. But other than that, I wasn't that drummer anymore, and I wasn't the person who went to work, and I wasn't the wife, and I wasn't any of those things. So it precipitated a new change, and I had to figure out who I was. While I was in the hospital, I knew I was really afraid of vegetating, and so I asked the lawyers. I said, can you help me get a laptop in here? I need to go to school. I need to do something. So a new change, a new career. I started to train for coaching, and I took absolutely everything. So I was a business coach, a life coach, a spiritual coach, whatever kind of coach you could think of. I did it until I became a master coach trainer. And at that time, I started to work for the company. So I said, they said, would you like to teach? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to teach. So I started teaching coaching, another change. And as the coaching went on, I've always been I love school. I'd be a permanent student if I could. So I began hypnotherapy. I thought, okay, maybe I'd like to be a hypnotherapist. Maybe I'd like to be a metaphysical hypnotherapist, and show people, past life regression and doing things about why we would come here and why we might, some of those, obstacles that happen in our life, why they might happen. And radio has been something I've always wanted to do. When I was 9 years old, I sent away for the National Institute of Broadcasting records, how to be a DJ, how to get on air. And it was always in the back pocket, I think there. And here we are today.
Awesome. Well, and I want to ask you, because obviously you had a ton of things happen all at the same time. And, how did you go about coping with that? Obviously, it set you on your path to change, but, how did you sort of that's a lot for one person to handle all of this, basically simultaneously.
It is. It was a lot. And, it's kind of funny because just after that, a friend of mine, just a quick story, a friend of mine asked me to come down to St. Michael's Hospital. There was a woman in the hospital who he had met her husband, and he was also had a motorcycle accident. She had a snowmobile accident, and her injuries were very, very similar to mine. And her husband was freaking out, and he wanted to, can I meet her? So I went down to the hospital to meet him, and I said, there's life after the accident. Don't worry. Your wife she'll be fine. And he said, but how did you do it? You didn't have a man. You didn't have a man to do this with. I'm like, yeah, I did it by myself because I'm a woman. And, I guess the strength, I've always been an optimist. My dad's an optimist. He's he doesn't look back. He only looks forward. And I think I have that in me. And just, I don't know. I couldn't go back. I had to go forward. I had kids at home. I had to come out the other side and see what I was going to become.
Yeah. So definitely putting your energy and really focusing, moving forward,
on
focusing
future.
on moving forward. Yeah. Forward versus just, obviously, because a lot of people, right. Yeah, a lot of people could have let themselves be pulled down by that, could have taken that on as their victim story. And exactly. So really recognizing, it was about the focus of okay, there's going to be life after this. There's going to be good life after this. And it really is about propelling myself forward and using this in my life to really empower myself versus bring me down, which is... you're right. And I actually even went around and did a survey in the hospital, because I was curious, why was I like this? There was a girl next to me who she broke her fingernail, and she screamed like she had broken, her pelvis or something, right? I'm like, are you kidding me? And, there was just no perspective for it. So I got curious, and I go, are people, where did you come from? Are you a positive? Are you negative? What were your parents? Were they bought? And I started to do this survey, because I had to understand, why could some people get through this and other people couldn't? It's a good question. Yeah, no, as somebody, I work with a lot with patterns and looking at kind of where your mindset is. And it's interesting, right? Because I'll say, I grew up with a twin sister, and she was definitely more the cautious one, definitely more the, on the, glass half empty person. Mm-hmm. And the pessimist, and I was definitely more the optimist. And so it's very interesting because it's where does this stuff come from, right? How do we sort of, obviously some of it's from, our environment and the people we're around. And then some of it's just sort of feels like it's an internal thing. Exactly. One of the other things I want to ask you before we go to break here is, you had mentioned, helping your clients understand why obstacles happen. Why do you think obstacles happen? What is your take on that?
Well, I think obstacles, they happen for a number of reasons, but probably primarily as a learning tool. If we don't fail, we don't learn. And, if everything's just so easy and breezy for us, you'll stay in the same place. Why would you, go beyond it? But when we have obstacles and we have trauma and we have things that we have to get through, we become hyper-focused. We become, in certain instances in a trauma situation, become hyper-focused. But when we have to get through things, it adds to our, our lexicon of being able to become a stronger person and know more and be, better than we were before. I truly do believe that.
Well, and it's really, it's like we can take that obstacle and we can really allow it to grow and empower ourselves, and really we can step into it and just allow it to really define us in a positive way, which is really, really awesome. So you are listening to Truth Talk. I am your host, Deb Acker. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to explore more with Frankie on this fascinating topic. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Nostalgic tale, never coming near what you wanted to say.
Song of the Heart, Walking the Path of Light, from author and healer Francine Vale, is available now. Through Francine's life story, we learn how imperative it is to love one another. Once this simple truth is learned, peace on earth will prevail. Song of the Heart is a life lived and a story told for this purpose. To learn more about Francine and her amazing gifts, or to order your copy of the book today, visit angelsandlightbeings.com.
Are you ready for a radical shift in your way of being? Are you seeking a more deeply connected and fulfilling life? Awakened Living Radio is a show dedicated to helping you embrace a life filled with profound peace, connection, and happiness. TJ Woodward is passionate about helping you find your clarity, balance, and purpose. Join co-host TJ Woodward and Dr. Pat Basili on the first Monday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific Time for Awakened Living Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
The doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative
What are vibes? We often use this word, but did you know vibes can actually be useful and help solve our everyday challenges? Embark on an exciting learning journey with Caitlin Keat, 11-time Visionary Award winner, specialist in vibrational energy, and the creator of Vibes Up. Join Caitlin as she takes you through the world of vibrational therapy and energy healing with natural solutions for a modern world. Visit vibesup.com to learn more today.
1230 WBLQ. The city streets are empty now. The lights don't shine no more. And so the songs are way down low.
We're back on Truth Talk, and I am your host, Deb Acker. My guest today is Frankie Picasso, and we are exploring various ways to create change in your life. But before we continue, I want to ensure, Frankie, everyone has your contact info. Can you give this to our listeners?
Sure. Thank you so much. You can reach me at Frankie@thegoodradionetwork.com. You can go to my websites, either The Good Radio Net goodradionetwork.com or unstoppablefrankiepicasso.com. I just wanted to give you one little quote, which I think is so brilliant about, we were talking about obstacles and why. Lee Iacocca, as you probably know who he is, he said, "We are continually faced by great opportunities disguised as insoluble problems." I love that.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really cool quote. It's a really good way to reframe anything that's really happening in our life that we want to perceive as a challenge.
Right. Yeah. It's an obstacle, but it's a great opportunity for us. And what's really cool about change, the Chinese have two symbols for change. One is danger, the other is opportunity. And so for those folks who are afraid of change and don't want to change, the danger, is, I have to get out of my comfort zone. Right? I have to get out of that chair and move, 2 feet to the right or left. However, the opportunity, that's where that also lies, 2 feet to the right or the left. So, it's a choice that we make. We all have that choice to make. Do we want to, move forward in our life? Do we want to grow, or do we want to just stay where we are?
Right. And absolutely around too, it's like around what we choose to focus on, right? Where we put our focus. So it's like focusing on that danger or focusing on the opportunity, they're both, like you as you're describing, it's like they're both equidistant. And so it's, it's really about, okay, well, I could go 2 feet to the left and end up in the danger, or I could go 2 feet to the right and be in the opportunity. And either way, it's the same distance. So, which one, it's like, which one would you prefer to have in your life? Which one would you rather choose? So that's really, really cool. So, I want to ask you, we're talking about change, we're talking about the opportunity that change can present. What are the biggest steps that, you would recommend in terms of creating massive change in your life?
Question yourself. I think that's the biggest thing, is to question and see, take a barometer, see where you're at in that moment, because you have to, if you gave yourself a scale of 1 to 10 and you said, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest, how much do I really want to leave my job? How much do I really want to stay in this relationship? How much do I really want to live in this house? How much do I really want to stay in the city? And so on and so on. And if if you're continually over like an 8 or a 9, then that tells you, you're ready for change. Like, as a hypnotherapist, when you want to help somebody quit smoking, they have to be around an 8 or a 9, on that scale, that they really, really want to quit in order for them to quit. And for other things, it can be a little bit less. But I would say, over that 7, 8 mark, you're ready for change. You're right for change.
Well, yes, it's like,
unless it's thrust upon you, like it was.
unless you don't get it, you don't
no
get choice,
yeah.
Unquote. So what you're really talking about is desire, right? How, besides like asking those questions, like how does one go into kind of really, it's like, okay, we've got, we get this number, this ranking around, okay, I'm at an 8. I am like absolutely ready, ready for change. Where, it's like, where do we go from there? You're ready, but what do we do when that fear comes up?
Okay, so now what we have to ask ourselves is, what are my obstacles? What is stopping me from changing? Or who is stopping me from changing? Is it my negative self-talk? Is it, somebody in my life? So we have to go through and find out who it is or what it is that is stopping us from, or what, what's the fear, or what's the message that's going on in your head, because you have to hear that first too. So you have to begin to listen to your thoughts. And I liken it to listening to a song. If you listen to a song, you go, okay, I just want to hear the bass line. I just want to hear, the drums. I just want to hear the sax. Okay. That's what we can do in our head. So we can start to listen to the thoughts and we say, whose thought is that? Now we have to challenge our own beliefs. So, whose thought is it? Because our thoughts go into our subconscious like a sponge. And the subconscious has it doesn't care if it's wrong or right. It has no morality to it. It's just a sponge. It takes in what you give it, right or wrong. So now we were socialized into this from our parents, from school, from influential people in our lives, told us certain things. So we have to ask ourselves now, as an adult, do I believe that? Is that true for me, or was it true for somebody else and I adopted it? Because everybody in our family, believes that rich people are are mean or something, right? Mm-hmm. They talk about it all the time. So I have to ask myself, well, do I believe that? Has every rich person I ever met been mean to me? No. Okay. So it's not, it just can't be a blanket statement, so now I'm starting to challenge those beliefs and figure out what I believe. And what you believe is, very important in order to start to change your life. So that's the first step. Hear your thoughts, change your thoughts. And then I'm a big believer of acting as if. So if you were afraid to be Deb Acker, I love Deb Acker. She's a coach and she's on the radio and I really want to be like her. I would model Deb Acker's behavior. Maybe I'm not there yet on my own, but I do believe in modeling behavior and acting as if. So if I wanted to act as if I was a reporter or a DJ, I would go through my day. What do they wear? What do they do in a day? I would research it and I would pretend, because 9 times out of 10, that action turns into reality.
Yeah,
modeling good behavior.
No, absolutely. I was going to make a joke. Listeners, we don't recommend modeling Deb Acker's behavior. I'm just kidding. Absolutely, right? it's the whole dress for who, the position you want versus, where you are right now. That's absolutely. Well, and what do we do with the fear, right? Because fear is kind of like that big thing. So, we can be aware of what's going on and we can, we can have that awareness, but what do we do when that fear comes up?
Yeah. Everybody has a different, acronym for fear. Mine is, fantasized experience appearing real. So as long as we know that it's just a fantasized experience appearing real, we can tackle that and we can find out what do we fear? Do we fear change? Do we fear success or do we fear failure? And when we know what we fear, we can kind of figure out, okay, where's the fear coming from? If I fear success, it means I fear that I'm a one-trick pony, that I can't replicate what I just did. My friends aren't going to like me anymore. They're already calling me names. They're always saying, oh, you're a big shot now, that kind of thing. And so people will stop themselves from success just because of that. Fearing failure, oh, you're such a loser. You've always been a loser, that kind of thing. And nobody likes to be a loser. So and be called that. But, it can also be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And we already talked about change, why we fear change. So, when you know what you fear, you can overcome it. You can, look at the experiences that are happening through that fear and say, okay, well, it may or may not happen. This is just, in my head. It's just fantasy. And if it is, again, if I really, really want that job and my friends are putting me down because I want that job or my family is, putting me down, how much do I really want it? And it also comes down to your value system. What do you value? You value truth, Deb. You value truth. And so my own truth is saying that I really want that. And my own truth is saying I deserve that. So does it really matter what the other people in my life are saying? We come into this world alone and we leave it alone. There's nobody holding our hand as we exit. Mm-hmm. So this life experience is our own. We have to do things for ourselves. Great to do things for everybody else because that's what we're all about. But, my experience of growth has to be for myself and yourself.
Yeah. Well, no, absolutely. And how, in your experience, how have you tuned into your own truth?
Well, that, dark night of the soul experience that I had, that, laying there in the hospital one night and just realizing how much I had lost. But had I, had I, and so it was really experiencing what it is to be a soul and a human being. And you go through pain and sorrow and everything else, but there's something else there too. And so when you realize that you create this life, we do. People often say, well, how do you change your life? You change your thought. That's it. You just change your thoughts.
Yeah, no, that, absolutely. Well, and it is really all about for me, I always go back to the fact, I chose it, right? I chose to experience, I do a lot of feeling work and it's I chose to, to experience certain energies, right? And so, some of the pain, that you went through when you had your, your dark night of the soul, it's like recognizing, okay, you may not have chose that specific experience, but really you chose like the energy behind it because that's what you came here to do. So you came here for your soul to be able to grow. So, I
do believe it's an awakening. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it may not feel fun or feel great at the time, but it's a beautiful way to, to definitely experience and to awaken and to really step into your truth. So we are going to take another break. You are listening to Truth Talk. I am your host, Deb Acker. When we get back, we are going to explore more with Frankie. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Why'd you have to leave so soon?
Hi, I'm Leslie Fontaine with Sheer Alchemy on Transformation Talk Radio, and here's your tip of the day. What happens after we shift? An energetic shift can be disconcerting. When you shift from the known to the unknown, you literally are going into unknown territory without the former rules and constraints that held you in check. You feel happiness and joy, but you're nervous about not knowing what's next. Even happiness can be unfamiliar. You just don't have the guardrails. No one's telling you. It's dangerous. Stop. You'll get hurt. Plunge in. Leap. Taste it. Listen to your intuitive guidance. Let yourself step beyond the boundaries that you've known and challenge yourself to listen to your intuitive guidance, to your higher self, and learn what you were placed here to do. I'm Leslie Fontaine. Visit me at lesliefontaine.com or call 678-665-3366.
Hello, my name is Dr. Friedman Schaub. Anxiety is in many ways a learned behavior, which is rooted in our childhood. During our early years, when we are the most dependent on others, negative feedback, judgment, or ridicule infiltrate our subconscious mind and leave us wondering whether we are really safe, lovable, or good enough. In response, a part of our mind develops protective strategies to keep us from getting hurt. Let's imagine that the anxiety you've been battling with stems from the part that has assumed the job of keeping you safe. Doesn't it then make sense that your anxiety makes you expect the worst, so that you are prepared, keeps you on your toes to avoid failure, or shames and belittles you before someone else can do this to you? When you consider the source of your anxiety as a vulnerable child that just tries to keep you safe, you no longer feel that you're the victim of your own mind, but instead are more easily able to take on the role of the caring, reassuring adult.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving, even in the face of adversity. Say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
The life you're dreaming of is waiting for you to say yes. Together, we can create a powerful, love-centered world where business is not a competition, but a community of highly conscious individuals making a positive impact in their own lives and the lives of others. Fun, flexible, fabulous. You make the rules. We offer the tools. Connect with Shelley today to learn more at Live, Love, Earn with Shelley. That's SHELLEY.com.
The doctor is in. Tune in to the hit show, The Psychic Love Doctor, with host Deborah Lee. Deborah's life-affirming, highly perceptive reading method has taught Deborah how to zero in on specific problems with relationships, career pursuits, and current roadblocks to success and happiness. Join Deborah Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, and for a special broadcast the second Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Just as I thought it was going all right, I found out I'm wrong when I thought it was right. It's always the same, it's just a shame, that's all. I could say day.
We're back on Truth Talk, and for those just tuning in, I'm here talking with Frankie Picasso about how to create change in your life. So I know, Frankie, you actually wrote a couple of books and regarding change and some various different things. I know, and you wanted to talk about really that role that that we can play. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, in my book, Midlife Mojo, How to Get Through the Midlife Crisis and Emerge as Your True Self. In that book, in the beginning of that book, it starts to talk about change. And, people, they complain about, who they are and they don't like themselves and all of this. So, Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and we're all players. And so I say, if you didn't get the right role, if you feel that God didn't give you the, the right role to play, change it. Who is stopping you from changing who you are? You, nobody else. So, you can take on another role for yourself. If you don't, if you live in the projects or something, you don't have to stay there. If you, are your family always wanted you to be an accountant and you want to be an artist, be an artist. Like, nobody is making you do anything but yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and you wrote these two books. How did you, people, I know a lot of people feel writing a book kind of seems overwhelming. What would be sort of your take, your advice on somebody who has this inner burning desire to write or to possibly write a book and yet kind of feels overwhelmed by it?
Yeah. Good question. Writing a book is really kind of easy if you know how to do it. And there is a structure to it. And you have to make a framework and build on that. First of all, the most important thing is, what do you have to say? The second thing is, who are you saying it to? It's very difficult to write a book generalization, like just to the general public. It's a lot easier to tailor it to a specific audience. Like Midlife Mojo was tailored to people in midlife. My other book, Noble Aloud, How to Lose the Losers and Last Two in Love, that book is tailored to mostly women, women between 20 and 60 who aren't being successful in their relationships. And so it was tailored to specific audiences, and that makes it pretty easy. The next thing that you do to make your skeleton or the framework is you write down what you think your big chapter headers are going to be. Maybe there's 15 of them or 20 of those. And then when you have every chapter named, then you go through and you put 15 bullet points of the information that you think belongs under that header. And then you write 2 or 3 sentences to each of those bullet points. And that's a whole chapter. And you don't have to do it in order. You can do chapter 8 first, if that's the one you're feeling today, and then go back and do chapter 1. It doesn't matter. There's no, right or wrong. But when you have that skeleton and that framework in place, it makes it really easy to write a book.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Because, I know it's like so many people have that burning desire. They want to. Yeah. And then there's like something that kind of gets them in the way. It goes back to the fear, but something that can kind of, get in the way of them really moving forward. And it's just really cool to kind of be able to have it lay out so smoothly, have it be so easy.
Or you can work with a book coach, like me. Work with a coach like myself or whoever, and we can help you get that book going and finished. And finished is the most important part.
Well,
people start up, but they don't finish.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and coaching can be it's so instrumental in change in general, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What would you say, how would you describe, like, to somebody who's never worked with a coach before, like, how would you describe, like, working with a coach and, like, sort of the benefits around that?
Well, I would say for myself, I hold your goal in my hand. So I believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. So that's my job, to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself, because I know that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. The important thing with coaching is to understand is we don't tell you what to do. We ask you questions, questions that help your truths bubble up from inside you. And as a coach, my style of coaching is kind of laser coaching. It's using intuition and not allowing my client to get away with I don't know. There's no I don't know. You can make believe an answer, but there's no I don't know. Because when you make up an answer, generally it's like a metaphor. And so we can look at that metaphor and go, what were they really trying to say? So the coaching relationship is pretty sacred. Change can happen in a nanosecond. It's all about your perspective. It really is. When you fall in love, everything is rosy. Everybody's wonderful. The whole world is fantastic. And then you have a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend and everything, the world's crashing Chicken Little, right? Everything's coming down around me. Same day, same sky, same everybody in your life, except your perspective has now changed. And when you make up again, the sun's shining, everything's great and rosy again. So it's really, that's really all that is different, is that we've had a change of perspective. So a coach helps you reframe things, helps you see things a little bit differently, changes your perspective, and then everything changes from there.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, and it's interesting because, you mentioned around not when, you don't allow the words, I don't know. Right. Mm-hmm. And I always talk to my clients about like how not knowing is a way that we keep ourselves safe. Right. Because there was a point in our life where we actually did know, and maybe we were wrong for it. And so then now it's like, okay, I could just say, I don't know. And then that's a lot safer than me knowing and somebody telling me that it's wrong.
Right.
And so, just something interesting to bring up. Well, and I have to ask you, because your last name is Picasso, and I always have this, belief around our names, and it may not apply to everybody, but I can definitely say that a lot of us, I believe that a lot of us chose our names, right? We chose it for specific reasons. Like my first name's Deborah, right? And I think that has to do with me being an old soul. So I kind of picked a name that was like a biblical name. My last name being Acker sounds like actor, and that was all about coming out of this performing pattern that I had initially had and really stepping into my true self. Mm-hmm. What do you think, why do you think you chose the last name Picasso?
Because I wanted to be an artist. I love creativity. I have to be surrounded by creativity, and I have to be creative. If I'm not allowed creativity, I kind of wither and feel like I'm dying. So change and creativity and flexibility, those are my values. And, that's one thing that when I work with clients, is a really big thing, is that the very first thing we do is figure out what your values are, what your core values are. Because if you don't know what your core values are, you don't know anything. So for me, my core values are around creativity and, being flexible and generous and kind and things like that. So that's kind of important. Yes, I am an artist. I do paint, and I paint in acrylic, and I really love it. And I do it, a lot of it for charity. I want to, I work with different people, but Mercy Ships is one that I really, really love, that relationship where I can sell a painting and I can pay for a cleft palate surgery for a child. And that's kind of instant change. It takes like about, 45 minutes to do the surgery, and their whole life has changed for the rest of their life. It's better,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what inspires you in general? Like, how did you get into art? Like, what inspires you about that? Obviously, you're creating this big change in the world, and just in the creativity of it.
Color. I paint with a lot of color. I love color, and I love to see a brush stroke. And I don't know, it's just something really interesting about it. And, I didn't pick up a paintbrush until about 4 years ago. Yeah, I was old.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I love art, and I've always, gone to galleries and seen that. But I mean, as a child, I drew and I painted and did whatever, but not as an adult. And I envied it, but I didn't do it. And then one day I said, I'm going to do it. And I fell in love.
Wow. Well, and I had this question came up to ask you, and it's interesting because that's what came in intuitively. So I'm just going to ask you it. How do you think color represents life?
Wow. Well, I think that the more outgoing and the more engaged you are in life, the more colorful your life is. So, for those who are holding back in fear, it's a lot more grays, a lot more, black and whites, and people who live in a black and white world. I feel very sorry for them because there's too many rules and regulations. I'm a rebel when it comes to that stuff. So I need color. I have to, aesthetics are really important to me, and they change your mood too. And so if I walk into a beautiful room or a beautiful building, I mean, I've got original art all around me, not just my own. I feel good. But, sometimes, and this is what I don't understand. You go to a hospital and they have that, mint green or horrible blue color, Pepto-Bismol pink. That can't help people get better.
Right.
Those colors aren't good for your psyche.
Yeah, no, exactly. So before we take our final break, Frankie, can you give the listeners your contact info one more time?
Sure. Thank you. So if you want to email me at frankie@thegoodradionetwork.com. You can go to www.thegoodradionetwork.com. I'm so twisted today. Goodradionetwork.com is my website, and also unstoppableprankipicasso.com is my other website. Thanks, Deborah.
Awesome. So we are going to go on a quick break, and when we return, I'm going to share my tidbits of truth on the steps that I took to transition out of my corporate job, and one of the biggest changes I made in my life. And as always, we're going to finish with a vibration activation, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Time for me to take it. I'm the boss right now, not gonna fake it. Now when you go down, 'cause this is my game, and you better come to play.
What if we really didn't have to die to go to heaven? Are you curious about the afterlife or rebirth? The highly anticipated new book from author Dr. Susan Allison, You Don't Have to Die to Go to Heaven, is available now. Find out how to find guidance and healing in the spirit realms. Order the book today and put it on your must-read list for 2016. Visit drsusanallison.com to learn more.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics.
The 24th Annual WOW Conference, United We Change the World. Featured guests are Dr. Christine Page on creative dragon energy. Dr. Susan Shumsky will show you how to awaken your third eye. And Mira Kelly will present a 2-day intensive workshop on beyond past lives. This February 11th through the 15th. Go to thewowconference.org. That's the WOW conference.org.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish. Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this. We have so much to share. Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Just as I thought it was going all right, I found out I'm wrong when I thought it was right. It's always the same, it's just a shame, that's all. I could say day and you'd say night. Tell me it's black when I know that it's white.
We're back on Truth Talk Radio. I'm your host, Deb Acker. In our final section today with my tidbits of truth, I really want to talk about, I know that a lot of people are interested they're in looking and trying to change and really shift out of that corporate job, maybe that job that they're in that they're not in love with, and really move into a job that they truly love, in a life that just truly makes them excited. And I just wanted to cover the biggest steps that I took to transition out of my corporate job. And first of all, the biggest piece of this was just deciding what it was I wanted to do. What was the next step? As I kind of put together sort of the journey that I've taken, every single thing that had happened in my life was a brilliant way to really lead me into my coaching, right? So, all of the skill sets and everything that I had attained in all my other jobs between advertising and marketing and sales. And I mean, just like every single piece was leading up to this, right? So basically what I did to kind of figure out what that looked like was to literally put out to the universe and to my guides. I asked, what was my next step? What's my next step? Give me a very clear, definitive sign what my next step is. And what ended up happening was 3 days later, I'm sitting in Jennifer McLean's class, which some of you guys may be familiar with her, healing through the master's program, but I'm sitting in her class and she opens the floor up. She's coaching someone and she opens the floor up for people to add input. And I start unconsciously coaching. And she comes up to me after the class and asks me to coach for this program that I'm taking. And that to me was like, okay, that's a very clear sign as to what my next step was. So, from that point, I really started to really put it out there, right? I told my friends about it. I put it out to the universe. It was interesting. I had someone come up to me and ask me, basically, in essence, they were kind of asking for help. And I was like, I was in the mindset at that point, like, I don't have business cards, so I can't coach, And so, that happened only once. And then I said, give me another shot. I won't do that again. And I really shifted out of that. So, I began working with clients and just putting out my, with the work that I do in different ways through videos and classes and my website. And I let the universe tell me this is working and, give me positive feedback in certain directions. And like, maybe this isn't the best direction. Right. So I just really, really allowed the universe to just give me that sort of feedback. And then, one of the most important things, and we even talked about it on today's show, was just hiring people to help me, right? Hiring coaches to really help me to really step into my bigness, to step into the person that I came here to be, to make that biggest impact that I came here to make in the world and change the whole planet. So, I hired a bunch of people, including coaches and virtual assistants and other, awesome people to help me to really create what I came here to create in the world. And, I want to just really emphasize the biggest piece, of all of this journey and shifting out of that corporate job was choosing it, right? I had to choose it through the fear. I had to choose it, through the comfort. And when I say that, I mean, at one point, my medical sales job was so comfortable, right? But then at some point that shift happened where it became more uncomfortable to be there and not to be coaching than it became to stay in that job and to like allow my dream to, to dwindle away. And just really, through that whole process of choosing it was like choosing it every day. So I had to keep my eye on that end target and really, really just keep choosing it every single day and just honoring the feelings that were coming up, my fear that was coming coming up through it all, even if I was in the fetal position on the couch, just really, really honoring that and really, really recognizing like, you know what, this is here to help me to grow into the soul that I am and into my biggest being. Right. And so I want to go ahead and do a vibration activation and energy clearing around change, because I know change can be a big one for everyone. For those of you guys who are new, what I'm going to do is connect you to the light. So I'll walk you through this step by step, but you just want to see liquid light coming into your body. And then we're going to go ahead and expand that light out into the room that we're in. And we're going to expand it out bigger and bigger and bigger into the entire universe. And then from there, I might say something like, everywhere that you're scared of change and you want to see this fear, that fear of change coming out of your body, and just breathing in calm, breathing in peace. I'll give you a positive alternative. If that alternative doesn't work for you, definitely feel free to pick another positive alternative. Light is always a good one. And you just want to see this coming out of your body and just breathing in that positive alternative. So with that, go ahead and close your eyes. And obviously, if you are driving, do not close your eyes. But just closing your eyes and just taking a nice deep breath and just connecting to the light that's 300 feet above our heads. We naturally do this when we pray, and just see, sense, or feel that light, and just allowing this light to come down in through your forehead, down past your eyes, down past your ears and nose, down your mouth, down your shoulders, across your heart, down your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet, connecting into the center of the earth that feels like mother's love, and it's all ooey and gooey and warm and nurturing, and just allowing that liquid light to come back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your hips, up through your torso, and up through your face. And one more time, just this big liquid light shower, just showering every part of your body. So just coming down in through your face, down across your shoulders, down your back, good, down through your hips, down your legs, and out through your feet, and just back up through your feet, up through your legs, up through your torso, and up through your face. And just expanding that light from above and below, expand that light into the room that you're in, into the entire building, and just expanding out into the entire city that you're in. Just see that getting bigger, and just open, expanding, and breathing. Good. Open, expanding, and breathing, and expanding out into the entire state or country that you are in. Just expanding out and getting open, opening, breathing, opening, expanding, and breathing. Good. Expanding out past the entire continent that you're on. So just see it getting super, super, super big. Just open, expand, and breathe. Good. Open, expand, and breathe, and expanding out past the entire world. So just super, super, super big. Just see it expanding out, getting super, super, super big, and just expanding out past the entire universe. So just super, super big, past all the planets, expanding that light out, just past all the planets. Good. And just everywhere that you are scared of change, just exhaling that out and just breathing in truth, breathing in peace, breathing in calm, and breathing in your bigness, right? Breathing in that expansiveness, breathing in truth, breathing in peace, breathing in calm, and breathing in your expansiveness. And everywhere you don't want to change, everywhere you are resistant to change, again, just exhaling that out and just breathing in truth, breathing in peace, breathing in calm, and breathing in this expansiveness, right? So allowing your body to open. So just breathing in open and releasing any sort of contraction. So just breathing in that openness and releasing any sort of contraction. Good. And everywhere change is bad, right? Everywhere change is somehow bad, just exhaling that out and just breathing in the goodness of change, breathing in the goodness of having a life that truly excites you, breathing in that excitement, breathing in that choice, breathing in that joy, breathing in that excitement, breathing in that light, breathing in that love. Good. And everywhere not changing keeps you somehow safe. Just exhaling that out. And again, just breathing in truth, breathing in that expansiveness, breathing in that bigness, breathing in truth, breathing in the expansiveness, breathing in the bigness. Good. And everywhere, even though you're not happy, you're comfortable in your life, and just exhaling that out and breathing in the choice of happiness, right? So just breathing in truth, breathing in happiness, breathing in that choice of happiness. And everywhere you've made change wrong in some way, everywhere somehow change is wrong, exhaling that out. And again, just breathing in truth and just breathing in that expansiveness and the truth and the beautiful light and that expansiveness and the bigness. And then just everywhere you're scared of change, everywhere you're scared of the unknown, exhaling that out. And again, just breathing in truth, breathing in that expansiveness, breathing in light. And everywhere change is uncomfortable in your current situation is comfortable, again, just exhaling that out and just breathing in truth, breathing in light, breathing in joy. And then just everywhere you're not honoring your desires, you're not honoring your truth, and you're not moving towards your truth, exhaling that out. And again, breathing towards truth, breathing towards your bigness, breathing towards the change that's going to happen, breathing in truth, breathing in your expansiveness, breathing in bigness, breathing in joy, breathing in light, breathing in love, and just taking one more nice deep inhale and exhale. And with that, I want to thank my guest, Frankie Picasso, for sharing such great information. And I want to thank you all for tuning into Truth Talk. I always love hearing from my audience. So if you have a comment on the show or would like to introduce yourself, you can send me a note on the contact page of my website at deboraacker.com. And there you can also sign up for my complimentary 30-minute discovery session, as well as my free Living in Your Truth guide. And next week on Truth Talk, we'll have Cheney Weiner talking about being appreciated. In the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for listening to Truth Talk Radio with your host, Deb Acker. Tune into Truth Talk Radio every Wednesday at 3 Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com and experience the truth of who you are and who you came here to be. Each week, Deb interviews an inspiring guest and illuminates the truth to a wide range of topics, including love, life, purpose, career, consciousness, and abundance. Welcome to the world of infinite possibilities. For more information about Deb, including how to contact or work with her, visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com. Look forward to seeing you next week for more Truth Talk Radio.